HHDG.
Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. Shout out to everyone, as always, that takes the time to tune in and listen to us delve into our featured guests, learn about their life, their music, how these projects came to be, and so much more that, even sometimes is insightful and shocks me. Y'all always tuning in through our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook group, HHDG, Hip Hop Discussion Group. So salute to everyone that's always tuning in and is always spreading the word. You can also check out our website, hhdgmedia.com, which is on our bottom banner. That's where we have music, upcoming events, our merch, as well as previous interviews. As always, this is a family, a company, 5 of us: Rock Vader KB, T Smith, the Mayor, Skelly Top, and T Smith, form as HHDG Media Inc. That's our company. And this is always made possible through that. Salute to all of them, as always. We do a lot, behind the scenes, and always comes to help out and keep hip hop culture thriving and pushing forward. So, as always, we appreciate everyone that's tuning in, that, lets us know how we're doing. And as always, we'll keep pushing. Now, for tonight, we have another talented artist / producer coming out of the DC area. It's just something about that area, that's a little different when it comes to the talent of the music. They have so many different styles that come out of there and meld together. And this artist that I will be speaking with tonight has shown not just the ability of making the music to his liking, but with the core people that he works with. Some I've actually had the honor of interviewing, just continuously blessing us with a dope music that is not just something that it's out here now today and then you're gonna forget about it later on. Not with the quality of work that they put in and is providing to us. Initially, he went by a different name, so I didn't put 2 and 2 together, a few years ago, until I started hearing the voice more and more. And then I was like, this sounds familiar. And I'll speak about the group that he was part of in our interview when we get to that. But his ability with the lyricism to speak of just everything that's part of his life and make it not just entertaining, but insightful and something to think about in your own life is what helps with making music not just relatable, but replayable. And this artist continues to do that. And I love the core people that he also works with on the engineering and production, because once you have that type of tight-knit family, the chemistry is always there, and the music speaks for itself when it's always coming out top quality. His latest project, I Love You, I'm Not Sorry, dropped last Wednesday on July 17th. We're going to speak about that. He handled the majority of the production, which, always dope. And we'll also be talking about his how would I say, crossing the country to a new place and a new state of being, a new chapter in his life, and Also, what's the importance of when you move like that? You know, how well are you to adapt to a new area, and with having a purpose of being able to do that with your new surroundings and not have whatever you left behind not be still be a burden. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Let the Dirt Say Amen.
Yo, 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 what it is, bro?
Peace,
What's
peace.
good to the listener, the viewer, the supporter? What's up with y'all, man?
How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I don't want to ever say, yo, you already know the vibes, because nobody knows. All right, nobody ever knows when we say that shit. But nah, I'm good, man. I
Good,
tell
it's good.
people I'm good if you good. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Hey, you never know. You know, situations change any minute, any time, any
Yes,
day.
indeed, man. Yes, indeed, man. And being fortunate is a blessing. So yeah, give thanks and praises to the Most High.
Yes, indeed. In the intro, I was saying at first I didn't put two and two together until I heard your voice, and I said your voice sounds familiar, and then it started, coming to me. The
Hmm.
because the Cornell West Theory, the group that you was the leading, and that it was funny because a lot of times, when something's on your mind and it's right at the tip of your tongue, you can't really get it. It racks your brain for a while, and then out of nowhere, it hits you. And that's how it was when I started, hearing more and more of you doing work with Howard, um, Judah, the Humble Monarchs crew.
Yes, yes, man. Shout out to everybody back home, man. All my DMV family, and big salutes to Judah, man. Big salutes to Roddy Rod, to Camber, Sean Bourne, Choppy Chop, Grab Lover, the whole squad, man. I appreciate y'all, miss y'all, and I hope this new shit makes y'all proud, man.
Definitely, definitely. And happy belated to Roddy Rod.
Yeah, definitely, man. Salute to the general, man, Roddy Rod. Hey, man, like I said, hopefully we gonna be partying at your 150th, bruh.
Dope, dope. Mm. So as always, we want to talk a little bit about early history. When you before the Cornell West theory, what was Let the Dirt Say Amen? Doing at that before that time.
Let's see, pre Cornell West theory. I mean, I all my short answers turn into long answers, but I'm gonna try to make it real short and sweet. Um, I started as a kid and literally fell in love with hip hop. You know, at an early age where I could like, you know, probably just start to say words or whatever. Hip hop was being born.
Mm.
If I'm not mistaken, hip hop is what, 3 years older than me, maybe four. You know what I'm saying? I'm 47. Hip hop is 50 years old, so I was able to watch it evolve to a degree. Obviously, there is a generation above mine, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe even two. You know what I mean? Depending on who you ask, as far as hip hop goes back, but started there. Moved on up to, meeting people who was into the same type of hip hop that I was into, and then eventually meeting my key brethren, Rashad Dobbins, aka Messiah and Glitch, um, who's the other, half of the Cornell West Theory leadership in that
Mm-hmm.
sense. But he, myself, my man John Moon, shout out to John Moon, my man Born Infinite, aka Born Out Music, my brother Sam Levine, also of the Cornell West Theory. We were I guess we had reached a point where we was like not really feeling what was happening with hip hop. So
Mm-hmm.
even before, you get exposed to different type of music. So we all had our exposure to jazz. They got really heavily into it and influenced me.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a departure, and we was doing a improv, noise band. It was like loosely based on free jazz and avant-garde
Gotcha.
jazz and
Mm-hmm.
jazz of the 60s. Um, and then out of that, the Cornell West, the Cornell West theory was kind of birthed from that. So prior to, like I said, C West theory, we had a live crew called the Avant-Garde Violence, and from that birthed the Cornell West theory.
Ah, okay.
And I also got to give props to people like uh, Opus Akabin, which is a very well-known crew from DC. Shout out to my man Kokai. Shout out to Ezra
Kokai, yeah.
Greer. Yeah, shout out to my man Ezra Greer, Big E. Shout out to my man Sub Z, and blessed in peace forever to my brother Black Indian, man. But
Indeed.
without a group like Opus, without a miscellaneous flux, um, you wouldn't have had a Cornell West theory. So those were things that was happening prior.
Okay. Dope story right there. I everything gets pieced together in the right way when you have other talent around you that has that same forward thinking mindset.
Yes, indeed.
Mm. And then free jazz too. That's one of the things I always relate to hip hop is expression and freedom, and at the same time spontaneous.
Yeah,
And in
yeah.
jazz, it has always been that same way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed, man. They definitely linked. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is definitely a grandchild, uh, or a child, of jazz, of the
Mm-hmm.
blues, of reggae. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Totally agree.
Yep. Now, what was a younger you listening to as a child? What genres of music?
I mean, my parents was playing soul and R&B from their time when they were kids, like the 60s, 70s. Um, so, Marvin Gaye, groups like the Temprees, the Delphonics, Little Anthony and the Imperials, the Clovers, who
Mm.
one of my great cousins was actually the lead singer of that doo-wop group,
Oh wow.
John Buddy Bailey. But that's what they was playing. It's like kind of interesting mix because my parents was well, I won't say that my parents. I'll just say that at the time my mother was attending a specific church, and their brand of music was not gospel, so to speak, even though
Okay.
the majority of the people at that church were, quote unquote, Black or African American. So it was like hearing some stuff that, I guess you might not have normally heard, but you got that mixed into it. My grandfather was a big jazz head, definitely a Duke Ellington fan. Billie Holiday, Nat King Cole.
Looks like we might have lost him for a second. While we wait for him to try and get back in, I'm going to put up the link for his new album. I Love You, I'm Not Sorry. And let's cue up one of his videos. I'll start with, let's see. Let's go with spray toner 500.
Oh, this nigga Dirt got a new album coming out. Let me call my girls. Uh, oh, y'all might know him as Let the Dirt Say. Amen.
Young man. Lock the doors, the gates go in. Heat melts, beat burning your seatbelts. Police on the hunt behind us. Scent went cold, now they trying to find us. Wrong hard text, wrist is sharp on your neck. Let's bet I am playing with a full deck. It's the ace. Blow the horn, say grace. On Dilla, I'm shining. Black gold straight out of the diamond. Black soul won't sell for signing. Bullets go bang, wizards are dying. Yep, you get it. It's all in the digits, it's all in the business, regardless of lyrics. I bet the critics won't get it. Listen up, hear the drummer get wicked. I'm a public enemy. Guns and dope blow, what's the remedy? My love is a house and it come with amenities. One for the books, watch the king cutting loose on the stage, crushing the comp with the bass and the stomp. Never waste time while creating an art. Raise the glass while I raise the bar. I was 10 toes down with my feet on the stars. I told Chase, take a chance on me. I'm not a rapper, I can dance on beat. Come on, bro. Check me out. In my art bold as Bosky out. Look at the boss he got. Now all we got, nigga, call the cops. Lock and low, my life has been filled with obstacles from high to low. While the haters keep waiting for my shop to close. But I can't stop now, I do not suppose. Married to the game, I did not propose. She chose me, now I rarely sleep. In the streets of Los Angeles, I stay low. Cause I don't want to earn an early halo. Knowing every canal that I ride by. Could be the scene of a drive-by. Now you know the meaning of Wi-Fi. Now you know the reason why I try. I walk away like I got on fresh gear. Fresh prints walking in a pair of fresh airs. I'm upstairs while they waiting on their fare. We can fuck, we can touch, but don't stare. The host got the most, so don't fear. I don't sell O's, but oh yeah, it's so rare people gotta pay to go there. Just to see the kid with the beard and no hair. Soul in a hole, I'm controlling, I'm holding my own at the gates and it's golden. Yo, this was for Tony. Send them an invoice, they owe me. Fuckers. Look.
Yo, my bad, bro. The app kicked me out. But yeah, we back up.
It's all good. Being that we were speaking on your background and you mentioned jazz a lot, I said since I already had a few videos queued up, let me play one that is definitely showing the jazz inspired production right there.
Yeah, for sure. And that's because I believe it's funny. I would the original record I think is will probably be considered like maybe soul or funk, even R&B, but still them horns they're definitely drawing from jazz aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Like Pete Rock was familiar with the art of making us believe in them horns. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
shout out to Pete. And yeah, man, I heard them joints and it was like, yeah, you gotta flip this and go.
Now back on your background, you were mentioning our family members and the music that they played, and also having musicians as well in the family.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And even with my parents, like they both always sang around the house. Like, they would literally just be in the house, like doing acapella, like duets of songs. My father definitely made sure there were instruments in the house. Um, so we had a piano in the crib. My sister, you know, took like at least basic guitar lessons. My older
Hmm.
brother would play the piano. So obviously it got me and my younger brother sparked to kind of like start dabbling around. So it was definitely some seeds definitely planted, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Some
Hmm.
breadcrumbs on the road to becoming a musician, and becoming an MC, becoming a producer.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, with so much musical influence around you like that, for you, what was an instrument? Could have been just vocals, because you are an MC as well. But what at a younger age did you really gravitate to?
Um, as a real small kid, I gravitated towards the drums. Um, my mother's story was always that I could play an adult's drum kit at like not somewhere around that toddlerish stage. I ain't trying to go Cat Williams and act like I was like a prodigy and no shit like that. But according to her, she was like, you can hold a beat. So um, I don't remember none of that shit, but I do remember. I have vague memories of certain like drum sets
Hmm.
that we had. You know what I mean? Like coming up, like even if it was just like a Muppets drum set with like the snare sound like nothing but paper. Um, but I gravitated towards the drums and definitely gravitated towards um, the piano because it was one in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my grandmothers had a piano in the house, but I tried, but it really wasn't one
Hey man,
particular
look.
on the uncle that was there, to teach me or see them play. So
Yeah,
I did what I could, but it wasn't
man. Couldn't
something that I
nobody
picked
in
up
my
on.
in my house actually play that piano like that for real, for real. Like
Mhm.
my older brother was dope at playing by ear, but it's definitely technical things that certain people have a grasp of that we was just kind of feeling our way out with it mostly. So yeah, like I said, but those two would be the instruments I would say that definitely always stuck out to me was the drums and the piano.
Got you. Can you read music, like musical notes and everything?
Nah, not a lick.
No.
I couldn't tell you what a treble clef was. I can tell you who Wyclef is, but nah, I never had the grasp of reading music. Um, Not even on the technical side with producing. Like I'm not one of those producers that can tell you what compression does. I don't know what those buttons and knobs necessarily mean. And
Hmm.
honestly, part of me doesn't care. I just want to make sure it sounds right. And usually that ends with, you know, what I think is, and then it goes to someone like a Judah to make it, pop, pop, pop like it needs to, man.
Right, right. Mhm. Now listening to your music and now getting to speak with you, I feel that you have a certain vibration about you of a lot of respect and reciprocation around the people that you're around.
Yeah,
Has
man.
it been like that?
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. This car is coming by. Go for it, bro.
No, I was saying, is that something that developed, or have you always been that type of person?
I mean, one, it was instilled in me to be respectful of everybody. to try your best to not put anyone on a pedestal because of the material things that they have. So they shouldn't be looked at as any better than the homeless person, you know what I'm saying, that I run into, because I could be that person. So you starting at the principle of God is love. So yeah, love, I think, contains respect. You know what I'm saying? So you got that. But then there's also the part of me that I guess just like I want to see people around me win as much as I want to win. I don't really want nobody to not get there. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it would be more impactful if my shit goes viral. Nino Green shit goes viral. You know what I'm saying? Like Uptown XO and YU, you know what I mean? Artemis, like people from my hometown, like Glow Shines. Like if we all explode at the same time, there's no way that they have a choice other than to look at the DMV area. You know what I mean? DC, Maryland, and Virginia. But that's how I look at it, man. It's just like, look, I'm one of many dope artists that come out of that particular area of the country. And yeah, I'm gonna talk my shit, but I'm gonna also, like I said, praise those people that inspire me too. You know what I mean? Whether we work together or not. Um, like I said, I want to see my area win, and we got some dope ass people there.
Always. That's one of the amazing things about that area. It's always quality musicians coming out of that area.
Yeah, yes indeed, man. From Duke Ellington to Marvin Gaye to Chuck Brown, and that's just again some of the more notable names. Um, DC is definitely a producer of amazing artists and amazing musicians.
Now, you go by "Let the Dirt Say Amen." Now, what provided you with changing the name?
Well, it was like I was right when I got the news that my man uh, Joe Biden was going to step down. No, I'm just playing. It was basically, like I said, the Cornell West theory became the thing that most people knew me for. I dropped a first solo album in 2019, I want to say. And pardon me if I'm wrong with that, because I might have my math off, but I feel like my first solo album, Bullets, came out in 2019, I believe. So I was operating under my birth name, which is Tim Hicks. It's Timothy, but most people refer to me as Tim. So it was Tim Hicks and the Dirty Church. But then I discovered that it was some other people who were using that name in some form. Like, so it was like Dirty Church Revival, or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to be involved in all that. Come down the road, Lord willing, my career goes, in the way I can dream it, you know. And then one day I just literally heard the phrase the same way I heard the Cornell West theory. I believe it was God just like whispering ideas, and I thought of it as a more of a like a slogan at first, but then I stopped, like kind of like within the same time period that I got the idea, and was just like, yo, that would be crazy if that was like an artist name. And then it was like, this is the one. So, we will keep it amen as long as God will allow.
And I mean that name, that's one of those names. When you read it, that's gonna stick with you.
Yeah. And that's what I hope for, man. Like with names, ever since I guess started taking music seriously, I always liked names that, like, I never wanted to be a character as an artist. I feel like some people have to adopt and become a character and be a character. If I wanted to do that, I would have became an actor. Um, I would rather be more of myself. So with the names, I always try to think of names that didn't necessarily point to me
Mm-hmm.
and names that sound like they could be a group. So it's like you had to kind of guess, like, yo, is Let the Dirt Say Amen? Is that a crew of motherfuckers? Like the Cornell West theory, is it a crew? Obviously, if you know who it is, then you know it is a crew. But um, yeah, I always like names that kind of like, to me, took the attention away from like me. At least that's how I see it.
Like an enigma right there.
Yeah, yeah, that's a excellent way to put it, man.
Yeah. And this is around the same time that the Dirty Church came to be.
So with the Dirty Church, shout out to my man, again, Rashad Diamonds. That's my key brethren, mine. But he's always been dope at ideas and concepts. And one day he was like running down a list to me of all these basically names that were like, I don't know, nicknames if you want to or whatever. I don't know if it's pseudonyms. I'm not sure what you call the shit, but um all these like, ways to say DC, like because we're from the District of Columbia. So like
Mm-hmm.
he made up one that was like Dirt County, Daddy's Corners, Dimensional Control, and then he was like Dirty Church. And I was like, one day, this was like back in like the probably like the very late 90s. Worst case, like 2000, 2001, 2002. And I was like, yo, I want to use that name to produce under. So my man came up with that shit back then. Like I said, Let the Dirt Say Amen was just kind of like a evolution of the name, so
Mm-hmm.
to speak, so that it will definitely be like mine and mine only. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be no other Let the Nothing Say Amen. Like, you know what I mean? This is my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I fall in a good line of dirty motherfuckers. You know, rest in peace to Dirt Dog. You know what I mean? ODB. So I'm trying to carry on a legacy of keeping that shit dirty, man. And that's not a bad thing in hip hop. You know what I mean? Shit, hip hop got too sanitized, even though it's disgusting as fuck. Pardon me if I was not supposed to curse.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, let me not go off on a tangent, but that was how that name came about.
Now you mentioned your debut under the name with the project Bullets.
Hmm.
Tell us, from a person who didn't know about this, about the Whammy Awards,
Okay.
and how you won that for rap album.
Yeah. Again, I ain't do shit without God doing it for me. So let us make that distinction, because I don't ever want to be that, you know, person that falls into the bunch of niggas that think too highly of themselves. That being said, I was fortunate and blessed enough to, be right where I needed to be when lightning struck. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, somehow there was a moment created with that first album with Bullets. And I think in a time where we were seeing the city, like we seeing the gentrification go down, we're seeing the landscape and the aesthetic of DC change from what it used to be when we was growing up. Obviously, the DMV era is something that was not in existence when I was coming up. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't remember it in the late 90s. I don't remember it in the early 2000s. I'm not sure when they started saying that, but um you know, it's just like I said, it's not it seemed to be a misrepresentation. So I felt like it was necessary for us to have an album all our own, and somehow that album won Best Rap Album at the 2020 um, Grammy Awards. Now I had won twice already prior to that with the Cornell West area. We won
Mhm.
um, Best Hip Hop, Best Rap Artist or Group twice. We won it in 2008. We won it again in 2015. So, you give a couple years space, and then I popped back on the scene with the solo stuff. And again, God was like, yo, it's your turn, kid. So the whammies, for anybody that doesn't know, is the DC, Maryland, Virginia, or the DMV, as y'all from the outside know that shit. Um, it's our area's version of the Grammys. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And shout out to, all my people who's part of the DC chapter of the Grammys, but the Whammies is like our hometown thing. You know what I'm saying? So they've been in existence for a good little while. I want to say at least upward of maybe 30 years. Um, Someone else might be able to correct me on that, but for a time it was like out in Virginia, like way out in Virginia, where they would hold the awards. So
Okay.
I didn't step foot into the awards until it was brought back to the district, and that's when I won. So that shit made it special for me. But yeah, the whammies, like I said, is just our awards for all the different genres of music. You know what I'm saying? They have uh, awards for the community activists and stuff as well. Um, and yeah, that was the first time I won it as a solo artist. And let me say this too.
Good.
I don't think many people took the whammy seriously before I won that fucking award for Bullets.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, because when that shit was when it dropped on the scene, and again, shout out to my man Roddy Rod over at the Humble Monarch uh organization, because they are organized. And he rocked with me. We dropped that joint. But I feel like not, like it was like a lot, some people knew about the whammies and, it was a thing. But for some people, I don't really think they took it as seriously. And I think if you go back and watch, you can see how the award show began to gain steam. And I believe I was definitely a part of that, a huge part of that, because I went on a campaign before I even won the award. And all
Okay.
on social media, I was just going around just telling people like, yo, this is the album of the year. This shit is about to get taken. Like, go ahead and put my name on the award already. Whammies, 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 whammies. I won the award. Right after that, the whammies took my photo from when I won the shit, and they made that the front page of their website. That shit was up
Uh,
for like for that shit was up for like 2 years between the time of me winning for Bullets and then God Hates Gucci. And I did the same thing with God Hates Gucci. Went on a rant, a campaign, and just like, this is the best album of the year. I'm out to crush this shit. Y'all already know who you're dealing with. And if you don't, you will know by the time they announce them awards. And it happened again. But we can get to that part later. Because I know you want to eventually ask me, I'm sure, about God Hates Gucci. But if we don't, I just wanted
mhm.
to make sure I threw that in there and
Yep.
let people know I made it a point to put importance on the fact that every year we get acknowledged. You know what I mean? There's definitely some things that they could fix with the whammies and shit. You know what I mean? Like more blessings that they could give the artists. You know what I mean? That are finalists, that are in attendance, all of that. But that aside, they are still doing us an honor by recognizing and acknowledging us, and you know what I mean, creating this system so that people can vote, and at the end of it all, you know, sometimes it gets political. If you ask me, like I said, I'm gonna try to keep it civilized, but I made sure people knew, like, yo, take this shit seriously. It's not a fucking joke. Like, it's just as important as a Grammy. And in the same sense, you know, like Fife said, I never let a statue tell me how nice I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, the
Right.
trophy matters, but it don't matter at the same time. Whether or not they said nothing, y'all know I do too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, now the shit is rocking. Now everybody want to come attend the joint and all that shit. But yeah. Anyway, my bad, bro.
That's great. No,
Uh,
no, that's all good. I mean, you
yeah.
give me some history right there, so I appreciate
Yeah, I want
finding.
somebody. I would love for somebody to come dispute what I said. Like I said, it's on. You know, and I made it a point at this point to achieve. You know, um, and I was able to do something that I aspired to do, which was I was like, yo, I had like four something, I don't know, something like that, maybe three, and it was like, yo, man, I want to win six of these joints, or like Michael, like Jordan. And I was able to do that, man. So it's only one person I know that got more than me as far as rap shit, hip hoppers go, and that's my man Head Rock. Shout out to my big bro Head Rock, man. But I told him I'm chasing him like he Bill Russell. You know what I mean? And but somebody gotta be Mike, man. Somebody gotta be like Mike, like the Groovers used to say.
Definitely. When it comes to your style of music, you have a raw energy, and as everyone who does listen to you, again, you even said it in this interview, God comes first. God is, that divine intervention right there. Um, and also your environment.
Yes, definitely.
So when you give that pure energy of all of that together and making it sound good. It's not
Thank you.
like a lot of artists. I don't really want to call them artists, but they're out there and they're just explaining, what's going on in our neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost like you're just writing it out. There's no creativity, there's no style, there's no art to it.
Yeah.
And the way you do it, you're putting that all in there in your music.
I do my
And
best, bro.
that's when I feel like more so on 2021 with the God Hates Gucci. I think you pushed that a little further.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Again, like I said, Ja gets the true praises for that shit. Because, you know, like I said, if you think you're getting your dope ass ideas from yourself, you're definitely sadly mistaken. But that being said, yeah, God Hates Gucci was a time to elevate. I don't know if I just lost my train of thought. And you can, again, like I said, redirect me, bro, with your original question. But it was definitely, like I said, time to, and it's like, I believe it was Chuck D that was credited with this, saying that hip hop was the CNN of the ghetto. So, man, you gonna turn the news off if the reporter is whack.
Yep.
So, you know, and then it's also like, obviously, you know, we're in a time where they have developed the terminology fake news. So, you know, it's a lot of fake news out here. It's a lot of sensationalized shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of
Propaganda.
propaganda. It's a lot of displays of violence so that we can either A, become numb or fearful. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that same shit happens in hip hop. And blessings to whatever artist, man. Do whatever music you feel you should do. But I mean, it's tons of reporters that can tell me, you know, some shit about prison, some shit about dope, some shit about guns, some shit about money. I very rarely hear them niggas talk about life and how to live it abundantly, like, and how to not step on nobody else's toes and shit. I don't hear a lot of respect. And I come from the same fucking places that they come from. That's how I feel about it. So it's like, without trying to demonize somebody, I just try to offer my perspective of like, hey, listen, I was there. You know, I know somebody who was there, and I write from that perspective. I do not write from the perspective of a pretender, because there's a lot of people pretending to be something to try to get to a certain place or to achieve a certain, you know, set of things. You know what I mean? I try to just again approach it from the more raw aspect. So hopefully I did a little bit more of that with God Hates Gucci, you know what I mean, as opposed to what was going on with Bullets. You know, as an MC, I'm always concerned with MCing, but you know, like I said, make sure it's some layers to that shit. And not the same layers that everybody else got.
Very true. That's what it comes down to. What separates you from everyone else?
Yeah.
Yep. Judah, when I spoke with him, I think it was probably about over a year or maybe 2 years ago when I interviewed him.
Okay.
One of the things that I enjoyed hearing him speak of, and I might have mentioned this to you, is he's such a creative, innovative mind. Like he sees things in his mind of, you know, just in the ability to design things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why he's so good at the engineering.
Definitely, man. Judah is a blessing to us, man, in the DMV. And he's helped many a cat uh, make adjustments to get their sound um, not just presentable, but you know, like make that shit dope. Like I'm happy that I was able to come into contact with my bro Judah, man. Shout out to my man Al Green, Camber, for you know, shout out to Sean Bourne, like for them saying, yo, come through this spot, man. We gotta, you know, make some magic over here. And I appreciate Judah and all the cats that spend time over there at the science lab, because there's some shit being made over there.
All the time. Yep. So who was the first in this entire crew that was, you know, the first person that you met and then started introducing to the rest of the family?
So it's interesting, man. Like I said, we've all been doing music, man, on the city scene for some time. Um, you know, a lot of people know them brothers from Low Budget and other, you know, um, artistic endeavors that they've been a part of. So we've kind of always been, you know, circling each other in the same, you know, vicinity, and you know what I mean. Like I said, all honing our skills on that you know, that U Street music scene. Um, so I want to say roughly around like 2017, 2018. Kev Brown, shout out to Kev Brown, had dropped a video, and the video for me was dope as shit. It was grimy. I'm like, yo, who did this drink? It was like Roddy Rod. So my bad. Hold on one second, bro.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
It's all right. Bless you.
I'm trying to kick the rest of this coal out. But yeah, I seen he was like, yo, Roddy Rod did that shit. So I'm like, yo, man, let me reach out to this brother because I need some some assistance on the visual front. And then from that, you know what I'm saying, discovered my bad. Discovered that, you know what I mean, Roddy was doing Humble Monarch. So I was like, yo, man, if you cool with it, bro, let's just put this bullets out, you know, together as a collaborative effort through your imprint. And then from there it just naturally, you know, eventually like, and I mean it might have even been like a good maybe year or two before I like physically like met Camber and Sean Bourne and then pulled up at Judah's spot. It had to be like maybe right around like before and during the pandemic because God Hates Gucci dropped in August of 2021. So I would definitely say, like I said, maybe a year, 2 years before that is right around the time where I started meeting everybody else because Camber and Sean Bourne were working on the first Nino Green album. And somehow,
Never
you
thought
know,
about it right
it was just like they was like, yo, bro, let's connect and get you a part of some of these tracks, man. I was honored because again, like I said, we've all been on the scene for a while, so I'm sure we've heard each other's names for years.
Right.
And definitely what I heard when I started like, you know, doing my own research was like, yo, man, these cats are a part of something special. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they called me to be a part of that shit. And then that's how I met Judah. Even though I had known about Judah before because, you know, of him being a producer on the scene. I don't know if maybe we might have encountered each other before, and I just don't remember. But like I said, I definitely will credit Roddy and Camber and Sean for introducing me to Judah and making that connection.
That's dope. Yeah, man. I love the chemistry of everyone that you mentioned and the music that y'all continue to create because it's I know that y'all are having fun still doing this, and I like seeing little clips of behind the scenes at times when y'all giving the little teasers of what's to come, and then just seeing y'all zone out like that.
Yeah, Judah be, you know, responsible for a lot of those like snippets and shit, man. He's definitely on point with the filming and archiving and documenting and shit. But you right about that, man. Again, I was blessed to meet them brothers, and it was definitely something happening at that time amongst us. Like we had something going in our corner that nobody else in one the world has, two the country has, three the DMV. We was doing something real special, and everybody knew it. You know what I mean? So shout out to all the people that came in and got down with us and collaborated while we was doing all of that work at that time. But it was definitely something special because it just, like I said, you had Bullets drop. Then after Bullets, like I said, it's kind of when I met more of the brothers. And we, you know, I was working on God Hates Gucci in the cut. And then I, you know, came back to Roddy and Camber and was like, yo, hey man, come listen to this, man. And I ain't even had nothing recorded. I just come through my crib and just cut the beats on and I rapped the entire album. And then it was like, yo, let's take that shit in the lab, man. So yeah, and then you got the I'm trying to do the math correctly. I feel like the Nino Green album dropped before God Hates Gucci. Like maybe slightly right before. I might have my, like I said, my timeline off as to which project came out first, but that was basically like the trajectory. It was like you know what I mean, Nino Green, God Hates Gucci. Then we did the Three to Godway album. So like I said, it was just, you know, lightning was striking in the same place, you know.
Yeah, that Mount Olympus is crazy, man. Like I said, you know, all that chemistry going on, and just keep putting out some of the best work that y'all do every time, and
Thank
that's
you, bro.
appreciated. You know, for me personally, that's appreciated.
Thank you, brother.
There's a lot of artists that are talented out there, and they don't have consistency like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it gets stale after a while. You got some stuff that comes out and it's like, oh my goodness. But then after a while, either they lose the format, the formula, they did something that was like, nah, nigga, that shit don't sound like you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or that some people just don't, like I said, have what it takes for it to be lasting. But I think everything that we worked on is something that like can be considered classic fucking material.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like shit you need to go to if you're trying to find out like what's going on in our area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, outside of music for you, what keeps you at peace?
Oh man, like I said, we gonna go 1,000 times with this same answer. Jah is my peace. Jesus is my peace. Yeah, that way. Like that's how it starts. If you go past that, and these are just more manifestations of God, is my 3 children are my peace. My lady is my peace. Like, you know, my kids' mothers are my peace. Like my, you know, my homeboys and my homegirls, and yeah, like John Coltrane is my peace. You know what I'm saying? Like Bob Marley is my peace. Those are ways that I find peace outside of, like I said, just the actual creation of the music.
Respect. Yeah. I know, because the way the world is, we're always tested.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
deadly.
not just financially. It's not just your job. It's not way out in public. It could be at home. You know, family. It's
For sure.
everywhere.
All day. It's
And,
a daily routine. It's tests all the time.
yeah. And I think it's best when you have someone else around you that has that understanding of knowing when a situation can go negative, that can
Mm-hmm.
try and help to not let it get to that point, or
Yeah.
even be able to know that person and know what can push their buttons and help
Yeah.
them to not even get to it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We need more of that. We need more love, man.
Yep.
Definitely. Little bit more understanding goes a long way.
Well, it is. Yep. I have 2 sons, so I try to make my effort to just speak with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Man.
said this before. It doesn't have to be a bad thing that's going on. Just have a conversation with them.
Yeah, yeah. For sure, man. For sure.
And when you really know your children, you know their behavior.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta be aware of that, man.
Yep.
My bad.
It's all right.
Bam. Yeah, man, you know, we pass it down and hopefully we'll create a generation of healers, man. You know what I'm saying? And builders. And not of no dumb shit.
Absolutely. Yep. So now we're gonna come to the new album. I love you. I'm not sorry.
Yes.
But before we go into it, I want you let the people know why the trek from DC to the West Coast.
All right. So first, again, let me go back and say I snatched the motherfucking Whammy Awards with that God Hates Gucci, because that was a whole that again. I shook up the world. Trust me, they still talking about that. I know this, and if they don't admit it, it's all right. But it was, it was another lightning strike, double lightning strike. So it's like bullets. Got the first one. God Hates Gucci. Give me two more whammies. Right after that, went again with, Three to Godway when my brothers came with Sean Bourne. So it's on a roll. Um, I've moved away from the I moved away from the district. Uh, um, I've been away from the district before. I
Okay.
moved right before Bullets was created. I was living in New York, in Harlem, for about a year's time. Actually, it definitely was a year. It was a full year. August. I was there from August 2016 to August 2017. So in that instance, it was a faith mission of me saying, "Hey, let me go somewhere where I know that art and music is important." And this place just so happens to be the birthplace of the particular genre of music that I specialize in. Um, and let's see what happens. So,
Hmm.
in the same breath, um, I've spent most of my time in the District of Columbia. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not like I mean like in DC. Like, I've spent time in Maryland and Virginia too, like in my older years. But like even that had an expiration date, and I had to move back to my city where I'm from.
Right.
But DC is a political town, man. It's a town for politicians. And because of that, I think those politics bleed into the music scene and, in different ways, but it's like who you know. And it has always been a cliquish thing. The
Okay.
DMV era to me is like kind of like that first, like, noticeable, like, unity. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like people starting to collab, like, oh shit, damn, you got this person from, Southeast connecting with this person from Uptown. And not that that never existed, but I always felt like DC, Maryland, and Virginia was a very cliquish area when it came to the arts. And so sometimes if you're not in a certain crowd, you know what I mean, you don't get certain opportunities. It's not because you're not dope, because like I said, um, and then I don't really know a whole bunch of other motherfuckers that go and win 6 awards and you ain't dope. At least not the niggas I roll with. Now it's a whole bunch of whack ass people that have won awards, but I don't know nothing about that. I do know that if you dope, you usually get recognition for that shit. But outside of that, there's
Yeah.
also opportunities, the opportunities to play, opportunities to do what we're doing right now, which is interview and explain and get more people aware about the shit. Um, and it wasn't a lot of that. There's still a lot of fighting for position in terms of, getting to work, so to speak. So I believe in taking a long route, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
while I could have switched up my style a long time ago, tried to please a certain, sector of people just to get in, just to fit in. Yeah, but that's not me. So I picked the road that I picked, and I noticed the things that I noticed, and I felt like, yo, can you be doing this from somewhere else? Is there somewhere else that you can do this from that might help expand your territory or um, help you grow as an artist, help you to achieve a little bit more than what I felt like was going on in the DMV at the time. 1 second, bro.
Mhm.
My bad, bro. Um, I didn't want to sneeze in the audience's ear, but yeah, it's like the thing for me is I'm just a DC dude, man. At the end of the day, so I was walking through Harlem playing go go in my headphones, so it's just gonna always be that. And no matter where I go, I will always return to my source of origin.
Mhm.
Um, Hopefully, I will see all my DMV people soon, like late summer, very early fall. I'm looking to get back. This would be my first time back in 2 years. So, but that was my reason for going. Also, my partner is a costume designer, and it's really only certain places that you can be for that type of work unless you are already established. So, Atlanta was a place, New York was a place, here was a place, and the West Coast. After a couple of visits, and LA in particular, you know what I mean, the LA area, Compton, Inglewood, it made sense to us. So it was like, well, let's see what God says, and hopefully we are making the right choice, and we won't step out on faith, and here we are. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's
Yeah.
definitely been a rough and tumble mission, but it's also been some beautiful things that I've discovered along the way. And I love you, I'm not sorry. It's basically kind of like a almost like a movie about where I've been since y'all last seen me. You know what I'm saying? Like what I've been thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Since God Hates Gucci, because this is the actual follow up to God Hates Gucci. It's not a sequel, but it's the follow up. You know what I'm saying? If somebody
Right.
asks, they might say this is only my second album. If you put it under Let the Dirt Say Amen, but it's actually my third. So if you listen to the album, when you hear the start of it, my lady says, "Oh, this the third album." So that might
Mhm.
throw some people off. But like I said, if you know, you know. But yeah, like that was my reason for moving. Like I said, we'll continue to trust God and see what God has for me. I'm praying to be like truly, truly bi-coastal um, soon because my kids are on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Their
Mhm.
mothers are on the East Coast. My family is, like I said, all DC based. Um, they're out in, like I said, Maryland at this point, but that's like I said, we DC people, so it's just Emmy at this point, man. You know what I'm saying? Um, I can't, like my man Black Indian, God bless his soul, said, I can't be from nowhere else, man. So I take it with me where I go. But that was my reasoning for making the transition. And like I said, to lead into I love you, I'm not sorry. That's like, all right, this is what was going down. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got there.
Got you. So now that this works out to understanding more of how this album plays out too, as well, with you explaining everything right there.
Yeah, yeah. Like Bullets, I was coming back from there, like I said, in the mecca of where hip hop started and getting my experiences from being there, trying to connect with people while I was there. Um, so it was like a kind of similar thing with Bullets of like, all right, I'm returning from somewhere. This is a collection of thoughts that I have at this particular moment. And like I said, the focus was on DC for me with the first one. Then you
Mhm.
had God Hates Gucci. And like I said, that was me still being in my area, coming off of the first, solo album, coming off of Cornell West Theory, all of that shit. And then, like I said, now here we are with this one, and this is another traveling experience. You know what I'm saying? Like just consider me a traveling reporter from the District of Columbia. But I want to make one more note about this shit.
Go ahead.
Like I said, there's definitely some people that I've watched from my area go elsewhere and then pretend like they're not from DC, like they're not from the DMV. Fuck that. All right, next question.
Now, being that you said that, what's the purpose in that? I mean, like, what's wrong with not still repping your hometown?
I mean, here's the thing: you can fall in love with a place. I've definitely fallen in love with this place to a certain degree, but I'm still who I am. I was that before I got here, and I came here to represent that with love and be a part of the place that I'm in and learn about it and absorb as much as I can. You know what I mean? Connect with the people of the place because that's really how you learn it. Like really be like out and about and in the neighborhoods because there's so many different ones. But that being said, like I don't know. It's like I'm sure niggas would be upset if an artist was from Brooklyn and magically started claiming Queens. You know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying. Hopefully y'all get what I'm saying, man. It's just like I said, it's something special about the hometowns that we all come from and represent them and making sure, like I said, we got good representation. So hopefully I am good representation of where I come from. You know what I mean? And I just want that always to be known. And then also this, DC never really got its true shine, man. As far as hip hop is concerned, we've been doing some shit in the DC area for a long time.
Very long, yeah.
That has its attachments to go-go, but it's its own separate thing. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to all the pioneers and all the players in the go-go scene, and even the rappers in DC that are more aligned with the go-go scene. But like I said, we made our own shit. You know what I mean? And we dope at that shit. So I want to make sure people know, like, yo, where you from, man? Man, nigga, I'm from DC. Like, yeah, the nation's capital. That's where I'm from.
Yes, indeed. And that first track, Father Fentanyl, right there. Everything you were just talking about. That's it right there.
Hey, I say I'm the sauce of my city. The new Slim Charles body rocking over Biggie. If you're a Wide fan, you know who Slim Charles is. If you don't, that's Big G from Backyard. That was his character in the Wide. You know what I'm saying? When I say I'm the sauce of my city, it's like a flip. You know what I mean? So I'm paying homage to the go-go as well as a part of my roots when I'm giving these bars. Sometimes it's some layers, but yeah, man, Father Fentanyl, like I always believe also when you start an album, the first track should be captivating.
Always.
It should not be no like, you could have put this shit as the fifth song, or as no song on this album. This shit shouldn't have been on here. So hopefully I repeated that. I think with, God Hates Gucci, that very first song. Shout out to my man DJ Iron too for the intro, but the actual first song of God Hates Gucci, Havana Syndrome, while it doesn't have drums, it's captivating.
Yep.
As soon as you hear that shit, it's like, oh shit, fuck is this? So I wanted to make sure the same way, but just started a little heavier, because then it goes through different movements. Like it's like, being on a roller coaster. It's like that shit. Wow, then you might come to a part where it kind of even out, but then it drops you again. So yeah, Father Fentanyl, man, because niggas is doing some weird ass drugs these days, so that's why I called it that. I should have did more research because I found out the other day that I think it might be a few of artists that have songs titled that. But like I said, you notice when you hear it because that shit sounds like drugs.
You got to have that first track, like you said. It's got to be captivating. It has to. It's a person's initial impression of what the project's gonna be.
Yeah, and I need people also to know, like, a lot of people don't, I think, look at me for production.
I don't know why.
God Hates Gucci, that shit is all me. Bullets, that shit is all me.
Let them know.
The 90% of the Cornell West theory, that was all me. Now with this caveat, I always work with my man. Him, my man. But that being said, I'm a producer. So I'm, you know what I mean? I studied the greats. I studied Pete Rock, Premier, Diamond D, you know what I mean? Jay Dilla, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, like DJ Muggs. Like I know what it means to make some shit. So people have also gotten used to a certain type of sound, I think. And I wanted to make sure, like, I always try to throw in at least one or two joints that I like produce in the traditional way. Where we got drums, where we might add a bass, you know what I mean? We put the sample more as inside versus it being like the centerpiece of everything. Like, so you got, one or two tracks on the album that's like that. And then I, you know, go back into another zone. But anyway, moving right along, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I have to speak on a person on this project who definitely put in some work and much respect to her. That's Baby LaMonica.
Yeah, BB.
Sorry, BB LaMonica.
Yeah, Miss BB, that's my lady, man. She's again a costume designer, a creative, straight out of North Carolina, and she's been loving me for 7 years. And I appreciate her. And she was like, yo, I want, she always be messing with me like, yo, I want rhymes. So I'm like, all right, let's do something. So, we do a little introduction. And it's like, yo, and I always appreciate having the sisters on my albums. You know what I mean? Shout out to Glow Shines. Shout out to my sister Prowess the Testament. Had them on, God Hates Gucci. And obviously a couple more of my brothers on God Hates Gucci. So with this one, I was like, well, let me flip the ratio and have more ladies as the features of the album versus, yeah. Shout out to my sister Kenilworth Katrina as well. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed.
My sister Imani Malika, aka Queen Guala, from that South Side.
Yeah, man. That Uncle Piggy track.
Shout out to Kenilworth Katrina, man. That's my homie, man, from the same side of town I'm from, Northeast. And when I got back to DC around the time I was doing Bullets, I met Katrina through my man Black Indian. Shout out to my homegirl Uptown Shane. Shout out to ADST. I met all them through Black. And when I heard Katrina, I was like, man, what the fuck? Where the fuck? And how the fuck? Like, because she was, it was like, this stands out. Like, some people from my city are rappers and they just, it's not enough. But she got all the motherfucking qualities of an amazing MC, amazing artist, amazing performer, singer. Like, she got all that shit. So I'm blessed that she was like, yo, let's do some shit, bro. You know what I mean? We collaborated before with my man Black Indian back in the day with a joint called Top Water Babies. And, we just stayed linked, man. And Katrina also, like I said, she took the leap of faith, moved from the DMV out to California, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, yeah, man, let's unite and let them know, like, you know what I'm saying? Even though we moved, we ain't far from home, you know what I'm saying?
Indeed. As always, you mentioned, which I'm still shocked that people don't know about how dope your production is, and that you've been doing all this production. Um, like yeah, we see Let the Dirt Say Amen visually, lyrically, but at what point is it that people gonna recognize it's dope production?
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, that's on them and that's up to God at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Y'all find it when you find it. But yeah, it's out there. You know what I mean? Shout out to
Mhm.
my man Howard Knox, because on this album, like I said, most of my shit previously, and it's not just because I wanted to, it's just out of necessity, because cats wasn't moving fast enough for me, like sending me beats. You know what I mean? And I know what I'm doing. So it's just like I know what I want to sound like, you know what I mean? So I'll make
Yeah,
my best attempt at that shit every time. But shout out to Howard Knox, because Howard Knox did 3 of the tracks that's on the album. You know
yep,
what I mean? So I wanted to include, because I really, when I had intended this album, I actually was thinking that this should be the first joint that I do over other people's production. But it just didn't pan out that way. Like, by the time I was ready to roll, I didn't have enough, like, beat submissions and shit. But I had a couple from Howard and was like, yo, man, these 3, they go, bro. Can I use them? He was like, you got the blessing. So yeah, shout out to Howard B. Knox, man.
nice, nice. One of Another one of my favorite tracks on here, which is produced by Howard B. Knox, is Whammy Heist.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want to keep talking about it, but y'all know what I did. Y'all know who I am. They be worried about that shit sometimes, but the real salute when they see me, you know what I'm saying? So I had to write a song about it. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man Camber, and shout out to Howard Knox again, because they did a song called Grammy Heist on the first Black Earth album. Um, y'all, if y'all don't know about that shit, go look up Black Earth
Yep.
and Black Earth 2. You know what I'm saying? I think the first album is Blunt Force Trauma, if I'm not mistaken, and the second album is
Yeah, it is.
Intensive
I
Care
see it.
Unit.
Yep.
Um, and shout out to Howard, because I did the intro for the second Black Earth album. But they did the joint Grammy Heist, and I won, like I said, with the God Hates Gucci joint, and Camber was like, "Yo, you should do a song called Whammy Heist." And in the pack that Howard sent me, that beat was in there, and I didn't know, because I didn't hear the first Black Earth all the way through. Like,
Okay.
I think I heard certain joints, and you know what I mean. Like I said, I obviously I was around for the time of the second one, like in terms of when it was being made and shit,
Mhm.
and Howard saying, "Yo, do the intro for the joint," but it just made sense when I heard the beat. I was like, man, this shit is. He was like, yo, that's the joint we use for Grammy Heist. So it was like, all right, this just makes sense. Like, I know it's a joint that cats have heard before, but that's hip hop. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people do that shit all the time. Take somebody else's beat and do what they call a freestyle or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yo, let's bring it back.
Indeed, indeed. And the second music video from I Love You, I'm Not Sorry is this track, Whammy Heist. And
Yes.
there's a feature on there from another multi-talented dope artist that I gotta know how you linked up with her, and that's Georgia Ann.
Yes, yes, indeed. We gonna say the whole name, Georgia Ann
Georgia Ann
Muldrow. You know
Mooney.
what I mean,
Yes,
so that
yes.
the people know. Nah, man, love to my sis, man. Um, like you said, Georgia has been a remarkable motherfucker for a long time, and her name ring out. And just like all of my heroes, I'll be on a course to try to link with them and meet them, and if God willing, build with them and build a true relationship. Um, And so I had met Georgia years ago, um, before I started doing, like, it was like it was like right when Cornell West Theory, like, we was working on our first album. So I want to say I think I met Georgia like circa 2007, 2008. and um, I was working at XM Radio. My bad, yo. I still got sound, bro.
Yeah, you're still good.
My bad. I was working at XM Radio in a mailroom, and all the artists used to come through that joint. So Georgia had came through one time, and I met her then the first time. So just years go by, and I'm like trying to figure out, man, how am I going to link? And then when I moved here, Georgia was living here, so I met her through a mutual friend. Um, but I won't even say that. It was just God, really. I just happened to be at a spot. Um, of of her manager at the time, and she just pulled up and she jumped out the whoop. Was like, Brother Hicks, and I'm like, oh shit, like. So we just been building ever since, man, and is bigger than music. You know what I mean? That's my sister in God. You know what I mean? Like, she's very supportive, very loving, very kind, very fierce. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just outside of the genius, it's just like a blessing just to know her and get to know her as a person. And she was kind enough to say, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was real early in the morning. So she was like, well, I'll fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So we shot that shit. And, soon come, man, we going to put something out there into the atmosphere sonically as well. But yeah, man, I was,
Yeah,
and
she
still, I was and still
sorry.
am honored. You know what I'm saying? That she was down and, like I said, come party with me, man, in that video.
That's dope. Yeah,
And
she's
shout out to my brother Ronnie Bueller, man, too, who directed that joint, and has been directing like the last couple of videos that y'all have seen from me. Like, he did the Spray Toner joint and a couple joints before that. But yeah, shout out to my man Ronnie, man.
that's dope. Yeah, Georgia and Mojo is definitely a kindred spirit. So I can see, even though before I knew that the two of y'all knew each other, that it was going to work out. That was going to be a friendship right there.
Yeah, man, God is great, man. Like I said, it was, something orchestrated before we was even born, and now here we are. And like I said, I'm blessed, man, and I'm just, just be trying to absorb as much dopeness and righteousness that I can from my sister. And like I said, y'all just stay tuned,
Mm. Oh man. Everybody doesn't always have a meaning behind their artwork, but artwork is one of those defining things that relates you to not only the project, but also an artist. So you gotta break down the artwork for "I Love You, I'm Not Sorry."
Okay, bet. I mean, ultimately, like I said, it's to reflect, a couple things. I mean, one, it should somehow connect with the title. Obviously, that's something that I think about, is that you want the artwork to connect with the title. So it's like the title of that album is, it's like a non-apologetic saying, and my brother made that shit up. My older brother, like a while ago. It was this wrestling shit. Like, I don't really watch wrestling like that. I stopped watching it as a kid, but you see shit here and there. So
Yeah,
it was back in the day, Ric Flair, he was about to retire or something. He was fighting this dude, Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels was whipping his ass in the fight, and it was about to be over, and Ric Flair was like stumbling and shit. So Shawn Michaels is over in the corner of the ring, and he looks at him, and he mouths the words, "I love you, I'm sorry," and then he drop kicked that motherfucker. So my brother was like, man, we're gonna start saying "I love you, I'm not sorry." So it popped up later, you know what I mean? So with the artwork, it's just, like I took that picture in the cut one day, and then one day I flipped it upside down and was like, yo, that's actually ill. Like, what if that was like, You know what I'm saying? So then me and my lady BB, we started working on the album cover. Um, the little pic at the bottom right that says rated X by all whack jury. So that's the, like I said, that's the Bandcamp link, and that's the actual original album cover. The one that's on the streaming platforms is a variation of the cover. You know what I mean? I gave them a more generic joint. Like I said, that's the one for the collector, man, the people that want the real shit. But that is a play on, shout out to my uncle, rest in peace. Not my blood uncle, but spiritual, you know what I mean? An artistic um, uncle, Melvin Van Peebles, who was kind enough to adopt me under his wing during my time visiting New York. And when I lived there, I would, go back and forth to his crib and just, kind of sit up under his wing. And so the world should know him for Sweet Sweetback's badass song. And when he did Sweetback was an independent film. The majors were not trying to mess with Melvin because of what the film represented. And he would not submit it to the ratings board once he finished it because he felt like Hollywood is destructive. It's funny that I'm here, right down the street from Hollywood, or in Hollywood as people consider it. But, he was like, y'all images are destructive to black people, man. The shit that was coming out at the time. And he said, y'all aren't qualified to rate my film. So he had to take an X rating. So in the marketing for the film, he had a soundtrack for Sweetback, and there was a little logo on the bottom of it. Either the poster, it might have been on the record itself, on the back of the cover, I'm not sure, but it had a little sign that said rated X by an all-white jury. And so just one day that popped back in my head, and I just thought of all whack jury, because it's like, yeah, a lot of you motherfuckers in hip-hop are not qualified to judge this shit or judge most shit. You know what I mean? A lot of the shit that y'all think is dope fucking sucks. Yeah, I ain't gonna get into, the particulars of what I think about what's going on in rap today, but yeah, let's just say Melvin was dealing with a similar situation in film, and I feel like I'm dealing with a similar situation within music of, like I said, trying to achieve certain things and dealing with certain roadblocks, whether they be high or low. And so the artwork is just like, if you stare real close, that's not my middle finger. It looks like it is, but it's my ring finger. And if you look at what's on the ring, it's that Lion of Judah. You know what I mean? It's that the joint that Bob Marley used to wear. So it's just like a lot of symbolism. Like my watch, the watch, which I actually have that same watch on my wrist right now.
Yep.
It says now. You know what I mean? It lets you know what the time is. You know what I mean? So you ain't got to guess about that shit. And like I said, I love you, I'm not sorry. I think it says it all. It's like, yeah, I'm with you, but if you want some, some shit that don't agree, like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not sorry. Like, I'm gonna do it this way.
Oh, man, I knew there was a lot behind it. Before the interview, actually, when the album dropped last week, as you can see in the back, I got some of my vinyl back there. So I enjoy trying to decipher covers. If I never get to speak to the person that created the project. So
yeah.
I always love hearing, the backstory and symbolism and the meaning of covers like that.
Yeah, man. That, like I said, that. And this is the first, I just actually thought about this as you were talking, man, this is the first cover for me that I've like, I mean, just as far as being a solo artist. Now, I've definitely been on an album cover before with the Cornel West theory, with the first album. But even with that shit, I I had a ski mask on the first corner of West Area album cover. We were standing in front of the
Right in
Supreme
the
Court.
middle, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but like we was really there. Like it wasn't no Photoshop with that shit. Like it was like armed, law enforcement like staring at us like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? When we pulled that shit off. But anyway, with my solo projects, the artwork has not featured me. So I was like, again, like I said, we all have egos, so I ain't trying to pretend I don't have one, but I do my best to try to keep it on the humble side. So I'm not trying to draw attention to myself, but I know that, like I said, you still want to give people some sort of entry point to who you are. So it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna show my face on this shit, but how can I show my face without showing my face? You know what I'm saying? Like, let it be about the music. You need to see my face, take your ass to YouTube and go look at them videos. Take your ass to at Let the Dirt Say Amen on IG, and you'll find me. So, yeah, man.
Now, before we go, I just have a few more questions, but I feel this track is an important one for the way music and society is, and that's the track "Who Killed Fendi."
Yeah. Ha ha ha. Hey, hold on 1 second, bro. I'm still with you. I'm just my bad. I'm returning a text. Okay, my bad, bro. Who Killed Fendi, man? What would you like to know about the song?
I think the first verse and the second verse talking to two different scenarios, even though it's still trying to figure out who killed Fendi, but just
break it down.
Yeah, how did you get down? Get the story and everything.
So, all right. So, like I said, I Love You, I'm Not Sorry is the follow-up to God Hates Gucci. Like I said, I'm coming off of a high point with that album because it was like I said, it definitely was a lightning bolt. And like I said, I was able to win the awards, so I didn't want to repeat the same album. But how can you, tie it in so that the people can like still kind of like see that there's like it's intention behind everything. You know what I'm saying? So when I was doing the beat, and it's funny that you brought that track up because just like Father Fentanyl, that's the only other joint on the album where I actually like, did drums and, but even with the way I have them mixed, like I sometimes purposely turn the drums down really low instead of up high like most hip hop is mixed. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, just like I don't know, just listening to that shit, and I can't remember when that title popped in my head, but it just like Who Killed Fendi? Like it just came out of nowhere the same way, just like God Hates Gucci should. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I started writing the rhyme, and somehow I got the idea of, or I was reminded of the GZA song Labels.
Ah, okay.
And so, how he like used all the record labels, and like, so I was like, and then, I think I pay attention to battle rap, man. Shout out to all the battle rappers out there, man, that have been doing their thing for a long time. It's too many to name, but you know what I mean. I paid attention for a good little while to the the Tay Rocks and the Murder Mooks, the Low Deluxe, the Sue Surfs, the Geechee Gottis, like all of those people. The Jazz the Rappers, you know what I'm saying? Like, so with battle rap, they got some shit called scheming, right? You know what I mean? It's like word association. At least that's what it is to me. So it was like, how can you like take like just like all these different things that have to do with fashion or fashion houses or labels themselves and piece together this story? Um, and I knew that, like I said, just saying who killed Fendi just it still connects to like God hates Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Like because in the first song on God hates Gucci, I said God hates Gucci and he don't wear Louis.
Mm.
So it's like, all right, just again, a lot of motherfuckers run around and they think that they are important because they are able to buy in excess the most expensive European brands or the most expensive American, usually white designers. It's not, and no diss to, and again, my white brothers and sisters, we just keeping it real. We telling it like it TI is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lot of praise of black designers, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to flip it more on some like Dapper Dan type shit. Like even though Dap was, sampling, that's what hip hop is. You know what I mean? We take some shit and we make some shit.
Yep.
Um, and you got black designers that are dope as shit that have made major impact in fashion. Like, you know what I mean? Sister April Walker. Um, Shit, what Wu was doing with Wu wear. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of hip hop shit. Uh in terms of the fashion side that we neglect. And I was like, yo, how can you big up them things? So like a flip in the line, I say, I'm a walker where Amiri means nothing but Baraka. So the flip is I'm a walker where
Mm.
Walker wear. So I threw Walker wear in there. Shout out to Sister April Walker.
April, yeah.
And Amiri is a clothing line, but Amiri Baraka. And you know what I'm saying? So like it was just like that was my aim with that particular song.
That's dope. Yep.
And then in the second verse, I mentioned some brands that are a little lesser known. You know what I'm saying? That I just think are dope. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for who owns them or whatever, but they're lesser known brands that I think are just as fly as all and flyer than a lot of that other shit. Because a lot of that shit y'all wear is some stupid ass shit. But do as you do. You know what I'm saying? People think I dress like a bum, but that's usually what niggas say when they see God. You know what I'm saying? They don't know he's dressed in dirty clothes. You know what I'm saying? So that part. I dress like Jesus, nigga.
It's dope, man. Man, I love you. I'm not sorry. It's out now.
Yes, indeed.
As
Just
you can
hit
see.
it. Just hit the streaming platforms too. You know, I would appreciate it if you did it this way, man. Go to the Bandcamp link, support it by buying the album, man. Download that shit so you have it. You got the
Yep.
original artwork there on Bandcamp. We're going to eventually have some other things coming, man. I'm working on trying to get the rhyme book done. Um, First, it'll probably be like digital, like PDF form, where you can just like literally look and see like all my rhymes written the way I write. It's going to be confusing to a degree because it's a lot of scratches on the pages, it's arrows trying to connect certain parts, and
It's authentic.
yeah, but it's artistic too if you think of it in a visual sense as well. And it's just like I said, a more personal way of people being able to be like, oh shit, like that, and this is the actual like, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that, like I said, is for the number one supporters, man, the actual real fans, who are not fans, but they're more friends. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it at the end of the day. So, but at any rate, man, yeah, it's there, man. Go to the Bandcamp first and foremost. Download that shit and stream it on the streaming platforms. You know what I mean? If you paying for the service, that's cool. But remember, if you ain't got that Wi-Fi or you don't pay that bill, You know
You
what I
don't
mean?
have an album.
You ain't got that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I said, trust me, I've had to like disconnect from, some of the services I've had just by way of, dealing with life and, money coming and going and shit. And it's still a way always to hear it, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, support it in that way where you're helping the artist continue to do what it is you love them, for, man. Like, we don't make whack tracks. Like like, they said on the Gangstar joint Dwick. So that's why, hip hop is no, is at a decline in some sense. It's at an incline on some sense too, because it's a lot of good things starting to show. Shout out to brother Pete Rock and Common, man, for dropping that new auditorium joint. Hate it or love it, nigga. Good hip hop is in the building. So
Yes.
you know what I mean, and some other projects, the Mark Homie joint,
Mm-hmm.
um, artists who are not, like I said, uh, of that younger class. No diss to the younger class, because there's still some talent in that pool too. But you know what I mean. It's
Always a
definitely it's definitely a time where you need the OGs, man. You don't need the OGs to do dad rap. You need the OGs to do some shit that even when a youngin' hear that shit, they gotta be like, yo, damn, this motherfucker, how old is that nigga? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
like we still get busy. I
So,
get
yep.
busier.
Still getting
I
busy.
get
Yep.
busier more now than I did when I was younger.
Mm.
I got better. I got like I knew by the time God Hates Gucci was done, I was like, now you rapping, nigga. So yeah,
See,
that's my campaign spiel for people to go. Like I said, man, go get that. I love you. I'm not sorry, man. Go get God Hates Gucci. All the albums is up on Bandcamp right now. Now they up for a discount right now. I'm showing love to the people because I want it to be accessible. But at some point, the price of the brick is gonna go up, and you know why. And if you don't know why, hey man, again, God bless you. But for those that are actual collectors of art, you know what I mean? People that like actually really appreciate music, appreciate hip hop. Like, yeah, we gonna make that shit, accessible to a degree. But the price of the brick must go up because, again, do you see somebody else that can, you know, hold up them five fingers with the extra ring on it? Like, I mean, point them out if y'all find them. But I got six, so it should make sense that, you know what I mean, things should start to go up and up and up. But like I said, right now, while that shit is accessible, man, pull over there to that Bandcamp and buy every last project that's up there, man. It's only 4 joints right now under the solo work. You know what I mean? Actually 5, my bad. You got Bullets. Sitcom is a project I did with my bro Hoodie the Nigerian, aka Rashad
right.
Dobbins, aka Messiah
Mm-hmm.
and Glitch. You got God Hates Gucci. You got Jesus Light Skin Superstar, which was an EP that I put out back in December of 2023. And
Yeah.
then now you got I Love You, I'm Not Sorry, man. So please, it's out there. You know what I mean? Don't y'all keep saying, man, where the real at? It's definitely out there. It's up to y'all though.
Yeah. And that's why I go and put the actual links direct to the artists so they can be benefited the proper way.
Hey man, before we skedaddle, man, thank you, brother. It's important that we have people like you and platforms like this. You know what I mean? Because it's again opposition when you doing some shit that's gonna actually help the people. When
Very
you
true.
hurting them, oh, all the doors are open. Everybody want to talk to you. Everybody want to interview you. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you, brother, for opening up the room. You know what I mean, so to speak, for people to come and like talk they shit about what they're creating. You know what I mean, what they working on, and yeah, that part, man.
Thank you. So it's definitely it's highly appreciated, man. And as long as I can continue to do this and be able to continue to make use of the free social media platforms that are out there to share these links, like the Bandcamp link that you see in the bottom banner to I Love You, I'm Not Sorry. We here at HHDG Media are going to continue to do that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and I'll be seeing you soon enough again, because quiet as kept. Just so everybody know, my sister. My bad. I'm closing up windows and stuff, man. Shit. Hopefully, I ain't got no fucking spiders and shit on me, because I ain't been paying attention as the sun has been setting out here. But my sister, Miss Fathom, man, is about to drop a project in August called
The
the Dirty Fathom LP, and that album, it consists of I feel like it's 10 songs, 9 or 10 songs, that are all produced by myself. So again, you know what I mean, throwing my hat in the ring so people can know, it's some others other than the ones that y'all think of. Shout out to them names, you know what I mean, that always continue to ring out as far as making that real dope hip hop shit. But it's another mom and pop store on the corner there that you might want to go inside and see what that food tastes like. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. But shout out to Miss Fathom, man. That joint will be dropping August 16th, I believe, is the date.
Yes. 16.
So like I said, I know she got
30
plans
Fathom.
to come chop it up with you, man. So I will hopefully be around for that as well.
Indeed.
And yeah, again, like I said, just more, more art out into the atmosphere, man. My brother, like I said, Rashad Dobbins, works under Messiah and Glitch. He's on IG. Y'all should go follow him, Messiah and Glitch. And he's dropping a project called Geisha in the Machine, man. Again, it's the EP. I produced 90% of it. My man John Moon produced the other 10%. So, like I said, the work is out there, and then y'all gonna be able to hear that variety, man, and you know what I'm saying, just be like, yo, damn, you do this shit too. Like, we do it all, man. We've been doing it all, man. Like I said, y'all gotta play catch up. We
Yep.
we've been working for a minute, man.
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah, please do, man. Like I said, avoid the whack shit, because it's not healthy. You know what I mean? We don't need no more music about motherfuckers dying and people being happy about that shit.
There it is.
Yeah.
Let the dirt say amen. Appreciate the time, and I appreciate the insights. And always,
Thank
stay
you, bro.
blessed.
I appreciate y'all, man, for listening. Hey, please keep supporting my man and HHDG. All right, you know what I'm saying? Y'all go check that. I love you. I'm not sorry. All right, and it'll give you another reason to be like, yo, that's how they rap in DC. Like, that's what they doing in the DMV. Yes.
There it is. And on behalf
Shout
of
out there, one before we
go
go.
ahead.
Shout out to Artemis. Shout out to Ray Now. You know what I'm saying? And two other amazing people doing major shit. Me and Raynell, RNL, RNLification. If you're looking it up, we dropped a project called No Emojis, Please. All produced by me. One joint on there produced by RNL. Check it out.
Indeed. I'm going to take a look at that very soon.
Yeah, but shout out to all my peoples back home, man. I love y'all, man. Like I said, just know that I'm always fighting on y'all behalf. Hopefully, I will see a lot of y'all soon, man.
There it is. Again, I put up the Bandcamp as well as the link tree. And on behalf of HHDG Media, we're going to say peace.
Peace, y'all.